right, welcome to practice. It's the eve of Imbolc of St. Brigid's Day here, and wanting to orient ourselves in space and time towards that festival of the turning of the Celtic Wheel, otherwise known in the Christian tradition as Candlemas. In southwestern Pennsylvania is Groundhog's Day, and in the Celtic Wheel, Imbolc. And Imbolc, one of the figures of Imbolc is the figure of Brigid, who is revered as a goddess, a saint, and a crone. The elemental qualities that are represented by Brigid and Imbolc are fire and water. So our practice today is going to invite both fire and water. And I often think of the little snowdrop flower that comes in this season when we shift from the winter solstice and we enter the portal of Imbolc towards the spring equinox. In between now and that equinox time, the stirrings of life underneath the ground are very real, even though we can't see them. And I'm always very just have my heart blown open wide by that little snowdrop flower, that tender flower that is able to emerge through the frozen ground, through the mulch of leaves that I have on my flower beds. So it's just a reminder to me that those tender parts of us are also the fiercest parts of our being. And we can find ways to embody that. And that which is present in the earth is also present in our physical bodies, the stirrings of something emerging. And so when we are practicing tonight on this auspicious turning of the Celtic Wheel, we can check in with what is stirring for us. We can invite that fierce tenderness to emerge. And even in desolate conditions, seemingly lifeless conditions, this beautiful, fierce, tender part of ourselves can emerge. So maybe holding that in your body, in your awareness, you can, as I'm doing, I'm just inviting a little bit of slow rocking movement, which always feels really comforting to me and grounding. Or you can invite yourself into stillness and just begin to slow the breath down on the inhale and the lengthening and expanding the inhale, and lengthening and releasing the exhale. Continuing to breathe, slowing the inhale and the exhale down, allowing that emergence within. And recognizing the slow lengthening of the days. The angle of the sun is starting to change. I notice the difference in colors even though the landscape doesn't have a lot other than browns and tans and the contrast of snow. I notice more of a variance in those subtle shades, with the sun, with the earth tilting a little bit differently towards the sun. So breathing in, breathing out with all those images, awarenesses, and inviting yourself to find that element of fire within. You might invite yourself to orient that in your belly or your gut, your heart, your throat, wherever that feels like it best lands to you. And then just invite fluidity, inviting that awareness that we're largely made up of various densities of fluid, just like the planet. And then we'll begin our practice by inhaling, letting the arms come up, and the fingers gently coming together down through the heart center, moving at your own pace, breathing in, breathing out, feeling, sensing, noticing. One more breath cycle. And letting the hands land at the heart to center. Breathing in, breathing out. And I'm releasing your hands. I'm going to come off of my bolster here and replace it with a blanket to just provide the tiniest bit of lift for my hips. You can do that as well if you choose. And letting the knees be bent with the feet in front of you. Get settled here. So letting the feet come out in front about probably a little wide, like more shoulder width apart. And so we're going to start merging the heat and the fluidity, lengthening up the spine here, feeling the rib cage lifted and extended, making sure we're not collapsing into the lumbar spine. Let's start by bringing one leg up and extending it, coming down, another leg up and extending it. You can continue to do that using the support of your hands, or you can let your hands come alongside you. And you can continue to move one leg at a time if you like, or you might bring both knees up and extend both legs out. And when you come forward, lengthening up and down. So coming back up, we'll make that a little flow. Lifting one leg up, the other leg up and into a forward fold. So finding a nice fluidity to this little sequence while feeling the heat that we're creating in our core. One more time. All right, and then when you come into your forward fold, come into the expression that feels right for you. Letting your spine be nice and long. Gaze out over your feet. Breathing, feeling, and adding a little bit of movement here, maybe letting the head and the neck move from side to side. Can feel kind of nice. And then when that feels complete, slowly release coming up. Great. We're going to come onto our bellies here on our mat. So go ahead and remove any props out of your way. And prepare to come onto your belly. We'll come on into what we call crocodile. Stuff here. Where we make a little pillow for our chin or our forehead. Let the toes come to the outside, heels to the inside, and just settling in here, nice and loose. Breathing in and out, letting our bellies get close to the earth. And then go ahead and bring your feet back to center, lift your right leg up and extend it back down, lift your left leg up and extend it back down. Come up onto the elbows, below the shoulders. We're going to have a fluid experience with our Sphinx here. So as you bend the left knee, looking out over the left shoulder, coming a little onto the right side of your belly, and then moving to the other side. Getting in here, getting a nice massage to abdominal organs. And then stoking the fire, but having that fluidity of the water. And then coming back to center, and here you can lengthen up into your Sphinx, spreading your fingers, engaging, pressing down through the forearms, lengthening up, feeling that nice stretch in the front of your belly. Breathing in here. And then if you like, you can exhale, letting your head come back between your elbows. Inhale back to center, sort of like these Sphinx push-ups. And the next time you come into your Sphinx push-up, you're welcome to bring your knees up and come into a version of child's. Let your forehead come down onto the mat or a block. Breathing in and out. Taking your time to settle within. And then coming slowly up to our tabletop. And here, having the knees be about the width of your shoulders. And the hands the same way. And we'll do a couple cat-cows here. Inhaling, lifting the tailbone and the gaze. Exhale, rounding. Breathing in and out. And then coming back to neutral spine. So we're going to come into side supported plank, which to me has a very playful energy to it. I'm going to show you how you might use blocks here. If you extend that left leg out, you could have a block underneath your right hand that'll give you more support as you slowly rotate and use the top part of the block with your left hand to help support the rotation. So that is a way of using your blocks if that is something that feels supportive. If not, you can go ahead and let that right hand come down, lift the left side body toward the sky, rotate the torso, the hand can stay on the hip, be straight up, over the ear, stillness or movement, you decide. And find that fluidity, that expansiveness here in this exploration. And then coming back down, shifting to the other side. Again, you're welcome to use the blocks here with the lowest height on the left hand and the highest on the right. If not, kickstand the heel back of the top part of the left foot and the heel of the right foot, excuse me. Rotate, lift the side body. Hand can be on the hip, over the ear, stillness or movement. Taking your time to explore and get curious, and then coming back to center. And we'll come into preparing for downward facing dog. So sinking back onto your heels, lengthening the arms forward, spreading the palms, activating the muscles in your upper body. Keep that activation as you come forward. Curl the toes. Exhale, lifting the hips up, pedaling the feet. Any other movement here that feels curious or interesting to you? Breathing in and out. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. And then take your time to walk your feet towards your hands. Keep a little bend in your knees and your ankles. And sink down and then power up through the legs as you inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to the heart center in our Anjali Mudra. All right, so we're gonna do 1 Surya Namaskar, inviting in this season of Imbolc that we're entering into. We'll be here until the spring equinox, inviting that solar energy. We'll do a nice, really slow version of Surya Namaskar. We'll take our time. We'll get really present in our bodies. We'll get really present with what's percolating. So if you use blocks or any supports, have them available. Coming to the front of your space, grounding through the soles of your feet. Letting your tailbone root down toward the earth. Let your heart be open. Feel the shoulder blades on the back of your ribs. Let the arms rest at your side and then come to the heart center. Breathing in, breathing out. And we'll inhale nice and slow. Let the arms come out. Maybe the arms come up to 10 and 2. Keep those shoulder blades on the back ribs. Your palms can face forward. Feel the strength and the resilience in your body. Feel the arches lift, tailbone root, arms extend up, heart open. Take your time to take a breath in and come over to the right side, opening up that left side of your body. Little bend in the right knee. Inhale back up. Exhale over to the left side, bending the left knee, opening up the right side of your body. Inhale back up. Exhale, nice long spine, leading with the heart, hinging at the hips, bending the knees, coming down with your hands on the chair, blocks, or the floor. Keep your spine nice and long. Let the belly muscles and the back muscles work here. Lengthening. As you inhale, feel the belly soften, and as you exhale, feel the lower abdominal muscles, the pelvic floor. Moving and breathing. You might bend and straighten the knees a couple times and making sure you're not totally straightening them. Giving the hamstrings and the glutes a little information to work with. And then go ahead and lift up and lengthen and step back with the left foot in our lunge. You might walk your right foot over to the right. And making any movement that feels interesting and curious, one of the things that I like to do when I bend the right knee is to lengthen the left leg back and then bend the left knee and bring the right leg a little closer to that knee. It gets into some of the dense tissue and fascia. And then finding that lunge again, nice long spine. You can stay here or you can bring your hand to your waist, lengthen the spine and rotate. Keep that right thigh tracking in towards midline rather than splaying out. Smooth, steady breaths. And then take your time to come back to center and we'll switch sides. Bringing the left foot up and the right foot back. And again, moving in any way here that feels curious or interesting. Moving the hips around. And then coming into your expression, you can stay here, or you might bring the left hand to the waist and slowly rotate, keeping this left leg tracking in toward midline. Smooth, steady breaths. And then take your time to come back to center. And you can step back here to plank, the beginning of a push-up. And you can stay here with your knees above, or you can bring your knees down. So doing what feels right for you. Taking a couple breaths here. And then coming down to the knees if you haven't already. And lengthening up through the crown, up into a little up dog. And then back to plank. And we'll come into our down dog and stay here for about 4 breaths. Making any movement. And then we'll walk the feet toward the hands. Strong legs, root to rise, come all the way up. We'll come all the way back down to explore the other side. Leading with the other side. So coming into our lovely lengthened spine here, feeling the back and the belly muscles working. Stepping the right foot back this time, leading with our lunar side. And you're welcome to continue the exploration that we did just a little bit ago, or you can bring the right knee down and bring the arms up. Breathing in and out. If you chose this option, go ahead and bring your arms back down. Come up on the ball of the right foot to lift the knee off, and we'll switch sides. Coming into this lunge, and again, you're welcome to stay here and explore what we did on the first time through. You can come down on the left knee and open up space here, making sure your shoulder blades are still rooted and nesting on the back ribs. And if you chose this option, go ahead and take your time to bring your hands back, come up off of the back leg. And this time, we're gonna step back and come down onto the knees, come onto the forearms, and do a little fascial flossing of the shoulder girdle. Inhale, softening, come forward. Exhale, pressing down through the forearms, bringing the head back between the elbows, little bit of a chin into the chest. Inhale, soften and come forward. Exhale, press down. Flossing the fascia in the shoulder girdle. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, press and floss. And then the next time you soften and come forward, gently clasp the hands. Inhale, come forward, curl the toes. Exhale, lift the hips up, let the head come back between the elbows into our dolphin. Staying here for 2 more breaths. And then coming down to the knees, we'll walk through our down dog, lengthening the spine. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, lift the hips up. And then we'll walk the feet toward the hands, and we'll come into a squat. You can let your hands rest in front of you for support, or you can bring your hands to your heart, getting close to the earth. Breathing in, breathing out. And then taking your time to come to a seated form. I'm going to come back to the bolster. And just coming into your seated form, noticing what's present. You might make some small circles, just releasing any vestiges of tension that may still be with you, reversing direction. Invite your arms to come up and just sort of, you did some work on your upper body here, so just inviting a little bit of loose and free movement. And then I have 2 readings for you. Also brought my cross, my St. Brigid's cross, if you can see it, out of thrushes. 2 readings for you. So you're welcome to sit in a meditative state. You're welcome to lie down. And this is from Tending Brigid's Flame, Linnea Weatherstone. And this particular writing is Aaron Rowan Laurie. An early Irish law text says that all things are connected by a thread of poetry. Poetry is about how we live in the world, about who we are as human beings. Do we strive for truth and beauty and compassion? Do we work on ourselves to become better human beings and to leave the world a better and more just place for our having existed? We must become poems, become words of power, become moments of beauty in the world. Even our roughest and most painful experiences, our sharpest edges, our night terrors, can be used to bring forth something profound and poetic if we are willing to do the work. This takes looking at ourselves with honesty and knowing that we will never be perfect, and understanding that we can still at least attempt to act with grace when we have a choice. Sitting and letting that land for a couple breaths. And then a reading for Imbolc. Here we are in seed time, dream time, looking for the cracks of light that tell us to stretch out and grow. We are invited to consider this possibility. What if there is nothing wrong? What if there is no too slow? What if we live a miracle every single day and we don't have to earn it? As the first shoots of tentative growth begin to lift, and we sense the beginning sparks of possibility, of new ways of being, we may feel the itch to create a lengthy to-do list for a new year. Resist and sit, curled and waiting. Uncover what is enough. Not in the sense of playing too small, but the kind of enough that allows our hearts to expand and our shoulders to loosen, that allows creativity to blaze and joy to bloom. The kind of enough that opens space in our lives to hold ourselves and our seed dreams. Darkness and silence can hold both the sparks of our dreams and the embers of our hopes. We are our own seeds of promise. Molly Remmer. So honoring this beautiful practice, naming and acknowledging and showing respect to the source culture of South Asia and the Indus Valley civilization that gave birth to this living, breathing, ongoing tradition. Honoring my teachers, past and present, honoring this practice that we share, and honoring this auspicious time, this turning of the Celtic wheel in this living, breathing organism we call home, and the larger cosmos we coexist in together. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for joining me.